and welcome back to the last episode. Well, not last episode, last episode of the regular season. Today is the last day of the regular season. To another episode of Grade A Power Plays on the Grade A Fantasy channel. This is your boy, Grade A Fantasy. Kind of a late episode, but just wanted to make sure everything was correct. A lot of the odds, before I continue, a lot of the odds have moved from earlier, from when I was first taking a look at a couple games, and with playoff teams most likely having people play like 13, 15, 16 minutes instead of their regular minutes. I'm just going to focus on the main two games where I know people are going to play a lot of minutes. There are opportunities here, but we're going to start right away with why we have the Columbus Blue Jackets featured on the cover sheet. The reason why: they have the best goalie matchup at home. They'll be going against Marcus Hogberg. And actually, it's a pretty fresh and, like I said, it's a disappointing end to the season. They couldn't get the playoff spot. Montreal clinched it last night. But on top of that, Columbus has had, I think this is their fourth straight home game in about 6 days. So a lot of hockey has been played, but they're pretty much fresh at home, ready to close out the season. I'm pretty sure they're willing to give their fans a nice send-off. And they could definitely do it against, basically, it's, even though Detroit has the worst penalty kill, it's pretty much the Islanders, which is the best power play matchup with the worst penalty kill. Because at least the goalie that Detroit's having is better than Hogberg. Hogberg, I think, has 2 wins all season, if I'm not mistaken. And he has consistently been chased a couple of times out of the net. He has had games of allowing 3. He's given up 8, consistently 6, 4, and 3. And pretty much his upside is, his ceiling is not even that high. So, and against a good, sufficient offense, and he's sitting behind guarding that with a bad penalty kill. Yes, the Islanders don't give up many penalties, but with that being said, it's definitely the best matchup of the day. So with that being said, we could take a look at some of the combos here. Now, yes, Jet Greaves is on fire, but like I said, the defense is still a bad defense. Jet Greaves has the ability, like, Buffalo's goalie, Reamer. Great numbers, can give up a little bit, so it limits the upside of picking props against him, but you can still get some props off. But with somebody like Hogberg there, Hogberg has the ability to give up 2 points, multiple goals. If this is the typical Hogberg game where he's giving up 4 or more, there is possibility for a power play, and then the 5-on-5 goals, you can definitely, without a doubt, see some 2-point props, which I will be adding. So whatever you see as a pair here, anything for Columbus, just take it as, you can take it for 2. Fantilli, Kent Johnson on that second line. It's even better because the depth of the Islanders is horrible. It's the same thing as if you're facing the depth of Detroit. Jenner, Marchenko, Monahan, Jenner. As you see here, no, I don't have Sean Monahan and Marchenko because that's the main two that normally connect. Earlier this morning, like I said, I was looking at some things, didn't take any bets. That was a plus 110, plus 111. By the time I started actually doing research in the afternoon, it became a minus 111. Currently, the last I checked before I started recording, minus 108. Those odds definitely changed once Hogberg was confirmed. So we're just trying to take the best odds that we can. There goes Boone, Jenner, and Moynihan, plus 110. For Voronkov by himself is plus 126. As we go to the lower lines, against a team like this, lines 1, 2, and 3 are viable against the Islanders. Voronkov, Sillinger with nice plus odds by himself. Sillinger's almost plus 150. And then, of course, the power play. That's another thing that I'm surprised. But I think the books have it booked in the fact that the Islanders don't give up that many penalty minutes. But this is the worst power. This is the worst PK on the slate because of the goalie that they have. So it's definitely worth. I mean, everybody, even Werenski, if I'm not mistaken, is at 270. No, 260. Moynihan's 270. Everybody's above 330. 330 and above, so the power play props are worth it. But like I said, I've had success picking the Islanders. I'm favoring line 2 because the best defensive matchup will be going against the Marchenko line with Werenski in front of them. So I prefer, can Horvat get there? Yeah, but the odds and points are way better. As you see here, you see Jean Pajot already at plus 146 by himself. And then when you see over here, Horvat is minus 162. And then let's look for the first lineman who pops us. Probably Palmieri. There we go. Palmieri, nice plus 127. And then, of course, if you go Horvat and then just go a little bit down to Anders Lee, you're looking at plus 132. If we go and take a look at the line 2 combos, and obviously the matchup will be better there. Pajot, Holmstrom, 223. Holmstrom by himself is plus 124. Plus 280 if you do Siplikov and Pajot. Siplikov is plus 164. The lowest odds singularly is plus 134. The entire second line is plus odds. They'll have the better matchup. I think they could get at least one of past threes. So I definitely like that side. So it's line 2. I won't be messing with the Horvat side of anything. Like I said, the defensive matchup is there. Even though, yes, that defense is leaky, this is still the Islanders. And Jack Greaves is he's been a hot goalie. Jack Greaves has had the kind of streak that, yes, it can be maintained toward the end of the season. Basically, his last 3-4, 5-game streak, end of the season. They missed the playoffs, so I guess you could say, hey, let's give the home fans one more victory. I think they've been playing pretty hot, winning 4 of the last 5. And, maybe, hey, let's do it for Johnny and all this other stuff. So, definitely favoring the Blue Jackets. I will, before this game locks, 7:08. It's definitely worth taking a look at some of these 2-point props. Without a doubt. Even taking 2-point props at the bottom. Cole Sillinger, Fantilli, Boone Jenner, Marchenko, Monahan. If you put them together, you're looking at plus 500. The upside is there because of how bad Hoiberg is. And then the other game that we're looking at now, I don't expect the fireworks like I did before. Y'all saw the video where I kind of caught that 7-4 game, 7-3 game, whatever it was a couple of Saturdays ago. But once again, James Reimer is pretty much confirmed. If I'm not mistaken, last I saw he was likely, but most likely they're going to end it with him because Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen started the last game. It's pretty much set in stone. It still says likely for James Reimer, but we're definitely going to favor the Buffalo side here because one thing that Philly has is, like I said, decent, not a great defense. I always say decent defense, but they don't have a goalie, and Kolosov is definitely the worst of their goalies. So we're just picking on the 2 best goalie matchups of the day. Coolidge Thompson is plus 163. McLeod Peterka plus 155. You know me, my favorite line is the line 2. They finally, I thought they would just let it rock to the end of the season. No, McLeod finally got the plus 100. So he's still plus, but they finally put him down. I thought he should have been plus 100 about a week ago. But hey, I took advantage of as much of it as I can. And then Quinn is on the line. They had a market for him, so we could benefit from Quinn. So my favorite line, because of the plus odds and because of the money, without a doubt, plus 128 for Coolidge. It helps with the Tage odds for plus 163. Peterka McLeod plus 155. Peterka Quinn. Power play side, it does look a bit interesting. Decent penalty kill on Philly side, but once again, it's a horrible goalie that will be going against them. So you still got, like I said, it's something that is interesting because you still got Dahlen at 210, 280. Almost 300 Tage Thompson. You got Tuck, Peterka. The Philly power play, like I said, it's just a bad power play in itself. But like I said, you still have a Buffalo team that's the top in minutes with a bad PK. So both sides of penalty kills are looking good here. I haven't put in any of the Philly odds yet. Like I said, I'm not going to be as heavy on this side, but I still think it's still a game. It has a 6.5 total over under, so they're expecting goals. So I definitely won't be forgetting about the favorite line combinations of, line 2. My favorite Philly line. Line 2 is pretty much Konechny, Michkov, Couturier. Obviously, them being underdogs helps. helps their odds a bit. And as you can see here, the first odd you get from any Philly player is connected at minus 162. So if you match it with Mitchkoff, you're looking at plus 112. Couturier is almost even money. So if you combine them with either one of these guys, you're looking at decent odds at 142 and 145. So those are mainly the two games there. There are other games that did catch my eye or catch interest. I would have liked to trade more if they weren't on a back-to-back. Toronto, too expensive, and they got to worry about the playoffs. So guys that you pick, they need to do their job within a limited amount of time. I don't really see a lot of people last day getting like full 18, 19, 20 minutes. I think this is the day you can take advantage of maybe some lower line people. But basically these two games at 7 o'clock is basically what I'm looking at. So good luck today on the last day of the season. Like I said, these are two games with both, decent sized totals and nothing to play for. Nobody really has anything to play for. But when it comes to, bad teams that are just not in the playoff mix, the quality of hockey and the potential for higher scores are different from when you have teams that are just in the playoffs and just trying to rest. You got two teams just playing basically roller pond hockey in a way. So yes, Philly at Buffalo and the Islanders at Columbus. Definitely will be hoping that a lot of ruckus and craziness happens, potentially more to the Columbus and Buffalo side tonight, because they definitely have the best goalie matchups. So that's all I have for today. I still got picks to get in and decisions I got to make. And yeah, going forward, don't know what I'll be doing with the playoffs, but the playoff schedule is coming out. NHL is putting 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see what happens there. But for the last night, it's been a fun season that I decided to start doing this. Let's continue the success next season, pretty much here on out. I really don't know what I'll be doing. Pretty much maybe a few picks here and there during the playoffs, and then I'll probably be done streaming until football gets back. And then once football gets back, you get about a month, and then hockey's right back in our lives. But let's not even think about next season. We still got the excitement of the playoffs. But let's also worry about the potential of making some money tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Once again, this is your boy Grade A Fantasy with the final episode of the regular season for Grade A Power Plays. Good luck tonight, and I'm signing off.